What's up, everybody? Another episode of the MSF Happy Hour. I'm joined, as always, by Trepidation, and I am Agent Smith. How you guys doing? Trep, how are you doing?
Doing well. Doing well. Got myself some Tito's and Gatorade Zero again.
Perfect.
So, I don't know.
I myself, I'm drinking Tito's and it's a cherry cola, but it's a zero sugar because I'm on the keto trend myself, low carb, whatever you want to call it. So, cheers, my friend.
Here, sir.
And let's get to it.
All right.
So some pretty exciting stuff. Obviously, Doc Ock is back this time around for the Legendary. You and I were fortunate enough to get him first pass, but a lot of folks are getting him for the first time now, which is great.
Yep. Just got him by the skin of my teeth last time, but I managed to pull a 6 on him today. So
perfect. I haven't done that fight yet, so let's jump in and we'll do that. And hit
might as well while we talk about it. It's not too difficult. Your X-Force is much larger than mine, so
yeah, I've got a pretty powerful X-Force. I went pretty hard on them because I was excited for the team, excited for another war offense team when they came out, and I love mutants, so anytime a new mutant team comes out, I'm usually pretty excited about it. Outside of Shatterstar and Longshot, because I never heard of them before, and 2, they came out without a team. It was just them, so I left them kind of alone. So
yeah, same here. I just put some resources into Longshot just so that he doesn't die to initial AoEs because he's one of my RTA characters. So he's sitting around like 6k power rather than 200 right now.
That's fair, and that costs you like nothing. It's leftover resources you'll never run out of, right?
Right.
So I'm not really worried about this. I kind of feel like I can just toss this on auto and be okay to go, which we'll try that. And if bad things happen while we talk. So This is my 6-star run. A few days ago, I saw a 6 red star Doc Ock pop up in my store, and I pulled the trigger on it because I do like Doc Ock, and I think he's great. And the more red stars on Doc Ock, the better.
He's amazing, yeah. What's up, Frank?
What's up, Frank Chills? How's it going?
Yeah, 6-star Doc Ock. That's going to be pretty big. I think that's definitely going to be one of the legendaries you take into DD4. I'm sure. So
yeah, he's on the list for DD4. I took him in a DD3 too. My first time through DD3, I had the original symbiotes and Doc Ock towards the end there. I had Doc Ock. When I finished my first run DD3, it was right when Doc Ock was released, and I took him right up, and I had the materials to do so. And he made that last node super easy, I'll tell you that. And he's a great character. He's a lot of fun to play. And I like playing with the Sinister Six in general. And Blitz 8.3, they auto beat just about every team. Especially with a bigger Doc Ock with that, that power advantage. So it's awesome. Let's see what
yeah, I'm curious to see what this looks like.
Yeah, let's see the power increase off of getting to 6 red from 92k. Yeah, another 11k bump is great. 30k health, 2k damage, about 2.5k armor, another 13,000 focus, another 1,000 resistance.
It's blocked by the chat. What's the total health on him now?
Total health is 261,000.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so a huge bump to my Doc Ock, which I'm pumped for. Anytime if you got a character that's over 100k, they're going to be pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I'm excited.
That's the right one to have above 100k if the rest of your Sinister Six aren't. He's the right one to have up there.
Yeah, the rest of my Sinister Six.
I'm not streaming too. No, I'm not currently streaming. He actually, the way we do it, is I share my screen through Discord, and then he pulls it up and he throws my face in the corner there. At least that's how we've been doing it. Is there some special way we should be doing it?
Yeah, is there a better way? Because if there is, we don't know it. Yeah, he streams. He posted the link. He posted the link above. But yeah, the rest of my Sinister Six, you can see there, pretty sporadic. We got some good questions that we'll get to later about Sinister Six specifically that I'll hold off on, but pretty pumped for Doc Ock. I think he's great. Great character. A little bit change of opinion for me, because I really thought he was like overhyped as a legendary, but I'm pretty happy with him now, and I think he's great. Can use him on some hybrid teams to beat Black Order. If you don't have your own Black Order and you've worked on symbiotes, you can pair him with some symbiotes and they can beat Black Order and be a pretty prominent team. So
yeah.
Doc Ock is great.
He's a pain in the ass. A big Doc Ock is a pain in the ass in real-time arena as well.
Mm-hmm.
He just heals for days. Like I've had a time, it was like 120k Doc Ock. I had him down to like a quarter of health. Next thing I know, he blocks an attack, he takes a turn, and he's at like 3/4 or something like that. It's ridiculous how quickly he can recover.
Yeah, same thing for War too. I've ran into a couple of Doc Ocks on War defense, and it's a huge Doc Ock with mediocre rest of Sinister Six, and if you leave just the Doc Ock, you have to take another meta team into him, or a large team into them, in order to take him down. It's not easy.
Right.
It's got the similar effect to Captain Marvel did in earlier wars for us, where Captain Marvel on a team would carry just by herself, and if you left Captain Marvel standing, you had to take another big team in to take her down.
Yep. The good old days.
Yeah, the good old days, for sure. Yeah, so congratulations to everybody who was able to unlock Doc Ock. You won't regret taking him up in level and putting a bunch of resources into him, I don't think.
No, definitely not. No regrets there. He's somebody I'm currently trying to work on. I just got him up to gear tier 12 the other day. So he's just one of the background characters. I'm stuck at level 679 for a while, so I know I'm going to be taking him. I mean, I say that now, but I'm 99.9% sure I will be taking him into DD4, so I'm starting to work him up, but not putting any yellow gear into him right now.
Yeah, he's the plan for me to... I've already got him at gear tier 14, so taking him to 15 seems natural for me with my legendary, so... Makes sense. So you talked about real-time arena a little bit with Doc Ock, and real-time arena, they made some changes this past patch.
Welcome to the stream, Rain Pro.
What's up, Rain Pro? So real-time arena, I don't have the information in front of me, but we can speak to it. I'll jump into the objectives here. What we used to see, so the dailies didn't really change. We still have the usabilities for, the traits and the characters and whatnot. Still have the knockouts and the win a match and win 3 matches. That's all the same. It hasn't changed. What they did do though is the 225 knockouts. They changed from 1,700 points to 1,350, and they ditched the I believe it was 350 and 500 knockout objectives,
somewhere around there,
something like that, and replaced them with, I may have claimed. No, I don't think I claimed him. They replaced him with more ability, which I think are these ones.
Abilities. So, like for you, it's the villain, bio, blaster.
Yep. So they replaced them with the villain, bio, and blaster abilities. And the reason they did that is, in my opinion, everyone figured out, you can complete a portion of your dailies, and if you get the 1,700 knockouts, or you get the 225 knockouts for 1,700 points, you're golden. You can keep going, you can cruise through, and if you want to go further, you kind of had a choice, right? You could choose to do the daily and weekly usability objectives, or you could pretty much kind of focus on knockouts. And what seemed to happen is everyone learned if you take your Phoenix and 4 turds on your roster into a match, everybody wins. Everybody gets 5 knockouts, and you move on with life, right? And the matches were relatively fast. To me, that was a win for the community. It was a game mode that not everyone really enjoys and wanted to do, and they found a way to beat it, and now they've made changes, right?
Yep. And, while initially, I think you and I were both pretty initially like, yeah, this isn't going to be too bad, but I feel like I personally have spent a lot more time on this, and like just sitting there hitting auto over and over and over and over and over again with like a full, like for me, my weekly is, let me look at this here. So mine is controller, tech, and skill. So like, 90% of my game time in this, which has been hours, actually. It's been hours of me just hitting auto while doing other things, watching TV, working, whatever. Has been just me loading up a full skill team and hitting auto, and just whatever happens, because I don't care about knockouts anymore. And I'm at 18 right now.
Yeah, so this is where it's annoying, right? So like I'm, filtering through the roster, controller, skill, you have some options here. Not great that form a team that has some synergy by any means. So if we toss off skill and do controller tech, you've got some more options that have, some ability for you or whatnot, but I think you nailed it. It takes way longer. I've got it easier than you do, and it's still taking longer. I've got Bio Villain Blaster, which I can actually triple dip on a little bit with, I think, 3 characters, Bio Blaster, and drop down to Villain here.
Think about this. I saw a Reddit post. I don't remember if it was this morning or yesterday, and one of the guy's 600 abilities is Protector. So it's
It's going to take forever. They're so slow.
Yeah, they're slow-ass characters.
Right.
Rainpro has that. Oh, shit. Dude.
Yeah, no wonder you're not even halfway done. Sorry about your luck, bro. That's so awful.
I mean, like, the only semi-fast, well, actually really fast one is Yo-Yo, right? I don't know of another Protector that actually moves, like, above 100.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just bad now, right? Because they're hand tying you into using teams like this. Like, okay, so these at least triple dip. Like, I've got it better than the most. This will count for 3 objectives by using those 3 characters each time. So now I've got to make a decision on I can't use Bio Blaster and Villains anymore, so I've got to probably turn off Villains and just pick 2 more Bio Blasters. And I can't use Black Bolt because he overpowers the rest of them, and it'll just end the match too fast. So you have to pick characters that are relatively equal in power to where they'll all kind of stay alive. So I've got this mismatched team with almost no synergy besides 2 Sinister Six characters, and it's not even the best synergy. Right, to try to figure out and try to make a win out of this. And let's see who I pull up and actually face here. So match found
450k Black Order,
296, and I'm facing a Black Bolt and Ultron. I mean, Hand Sorceress is nothing, and Yandu's probably nothing either. These are all better characters than that, but still an Ultron and a Black Bolt. These guys aren't counters for an Ultron and a Black Bolt. Like, this is gonna go sideways real quick. I got 2 abilities down. We used 2. Now we're waiting. That's another great thing. There's the 3rd ability. Here comes the Ultron bots and the beginning of the end. There's a 4th. There's a 5th. I got 5 abilities down. Not bad. And there goes 1. There goes 2. There goes 3. There goes 4. And there goes 5. I got 5. 1 for 1. I got 5 out of 5 characters, 5 abilities. That's garbage.
Oh, that's rough, man.
I mean, it's just garbage. I got 1 knockout out of that. Great, you know? So that's what I have to do for weeklies. And you have to do some of these weeklies in order to get through the entire battle pass now. You'll have to complete some of them.
Yep. I mean, this isn't like, in terms of having it kind of decent with Bio Blaster, I mean, you're doing okay. Like, you can mix some of this. I think you're further along than I am.
And I have it better than most by having Bio Blaster. You know, I mean, that's, if I really wanted to, I could just stick Black Bolt and 5 turds on there and do just as good as I just did, right? I could have Black Bolt and nobody else, and then every time Black Bolt takes a turn, I'm getting a kill. So, I don't know. It's not great. What I don't like about it is, and what I was starting to think about this the other day and talking about it is, like every other game mode in this game, there's a point to winning, right? There's a point to winning Blitz. You win Blitz matches, you're gaining points, you're gaining currency, you're progressing further to hope to gain better rewards, right?
Right.
And same thing for raids. You progress further in raids, you build your teams for raids to move on to the next raid tier and earn more points and, you know, hopefully be better than the other alliances in raids to where you're moving up a tier list in raids, right? There's a point to winning. DD3, you know, all Dark Dimension, there's a point to winning Dark Dimension. It's to get through it and win and get more rewards. There's a point to winning war. It's to beat the other team, you get more rewards. There's no point to winning Real-Time Arena.
Right.
So it feels pretty, like, unsatisfying.
It's just a time sink now.
100% just a time sink because there's no incentive to actually win and do well and do anything other than collect objectives. It's just a time sink, and that I think it's probably what frustrates me the most, and I'd be willing to bet it's what frustrates most people most about the game mode.
Yep. Yeah, it's this is unfortunate. Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of the changes. I don't think it's going to change the fact that I'll still complete it. I'm going to still complete the battle pass. I mean, I won't have a problem there, but
did you buy the battle pass?
I have not bought it yet. No,
I did.
I intend to, but I don't know when.
Yeah, I did right off the bat just because I knew I needed the shards for Yellow Jacket to get him to 5-star. And by completing the battle pass, I have Yellow Jacket to 5-star. 100% the sole reason I did it. Otherwise, it would have been a bit of debate. I probably would have waited longer.
How many shards do you get total for buying the battle pass?
You get an extra 55 for buying the battle pass. Without it, you get 45.
So you get an extra 55. So you get 100 shards total.
Yep, 100 shards total.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm 100%. I was always 100% going to buy it. Knowing that, I think it's more than worth it, especially since he unlocks the legendary. But
right. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before. The rewards are great, just like it was last time. It's a bunch of gear 14 and 15 pieces. It's a bunch of, you get power cores right off the bat. 500 power cores right off the bat from it. You get a bunch of Yellow Jacket shards. Oh, Rain Pearl bought it for the Yellow Jacket shards so you could 7-star him and then pulled 50 from a Mega Orb and finished him. That's a bittersweet Mega Orb right there.
You're still getting a lot of, if you want to think positive, you're still getting a lot of gear tier 15 materials. So
the problem for Rain Pro is he's already got all 16 characters he needs for Dark Dimension.
I need to make him feel better.
He's already good to go. Misery loves company, Rain Pro. Sorry about your luck, bro. Yeah, I mean, to end my rant, that's kind of how I feel about Real-Time Arena now. Like, I'm 100% going to do it because the rewards are great. The rewards are fantastic and definitely worth me wasting my time in. It's just not it's not fun content. It's just boring, time-consuming content. Is all.
Right.
It'd be nice if there was a little bit more incentive to do well into it, like, which is tough, probably, right? I mean, because you don't want to make all those rewards simply like how well you face other players based, because then it really hurts the players that, you know, just aren't good at the game. I'd probably be one of those guys. So I don't know. It's probably fine balance. I get that it's hard to do, and Scopely's got some shit to figure out. But right now, I think they missed the mark, and hopefully they make some changes that are positive. But the first round of changes, I don't think helped. I think it just hurt.
Yeah, I mean, they've been. I mean, they were responsive in tweaking it. I'm sure they'll be responsive in our dismay in this instance here. So
yeah, they're not gonna change it halfway through, which would be awful if they did. So I appreciate the fact that they'll ride it out. I'm sure they'll take the criticism and response from the community and make some changes. If there's anything to be said, if there's any positives to be said right now about Scopely, they've listened to feedback from the community on the first round from Battle Pass, and they made some changes to try it out. Regardless if those changes are good or not, they're at least listening and trying some things out, right?
Right.
And they made changes, it sounds like, from the experiences and the information we've heard about people talking about Dark Dimension 4 versus Dark Dimension 3. They've listened to the community, they've made changes, and it sounds like those changes have been positive. So I'm 100% willing to give Scopely the benefit of the doubt on all this stuff. The fact that they're actually listening now, making changes. They're not always going to be wins. Sometimes they'll have to go back and make more changes and tweaks and whatnot, but we'll see how it goes.
Right. Yeah, I'm on the same boat. Like they're listening, and you know, one of the biggest complaints the last time was players complaining about Phoenix, like we were just talking about earlier. Phoenix and 4 turrets. I saw that the very first day. I have not seen that since.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. There's no reason to do it. They maybe just went a little too far, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe there's just a balance between
the
the
other
two.
thing is it's going to be it's impossible to please everybody. So, you know, this move probably pleased quite a few people, but
right,
not everyone. So we'll see where we get. I'm sure it'll change again next month, and you know, we'll go from there. But
yeah, at the end of the day, I think the problem they need to solve is they need to make individual battles more rewarding to complete than just completing, you know, the goal to not just to complete an objective, win or lose.
Right. It'd be nice if they gave some gold, like, and obviously it would be tough for them to make that decision. But I'm not talking about a ton of gold, but if like they gave, I don't know, 500 gold for completing a match,
or winning a match, right?
Winning, 250 for losing.
Yeah, if there's some incentive to win the match versus lose the match, or if you know, I'd almost even be better off. I think it would be better off if they provided more objectives. If there were just way more objectives to where you could, you know, I didn't have to look at, like my dailies today, I have Inhuman, Heimdall, and Captain America. So if I'm going to go to a match now, and, you know, based off my normal strategy, I mean, I'd play around with positioning or whatnot, but just for conversation's sake, I'd drop in Heimdall and Captain America, and I'd drop in Inhumans, you know, Yo-Yo, Black Bolt, and probably Crystal. Right, and this would be the team I would run. I would try to do the best with that to complete the abilities for those 3. If they dropped more abilities in there for more characters to where you had more options to create and theory craft teams that would be, you know, have some kind of better synergy together, I think that could work. I think that would work in their favor, because right now you're kind of pigeonholed into just what they give you, and it's not very many options.
Right.
You know, so if it was like Inhumans and X-Men, and then, you know, 4 other characters instead of 2 other characters. So like 2 teams, 4 other characters, to where you get to really start thinking about, okay, so which one of these 4 characters and which team is going to bring me the, you know, the best the best chance to win as well as complete these abilities. I think that might be a good balance. Just give us way more objectives than we even need on a day and a week to complete, to where we have more options to complete it. And then to piggyback on what you're saying, like actually give incentive to win a match rather than just throw in garbage to try to get abilities done.
Exactly. Like when we have even when it's a new character that I want, I still find it difficult to blitz. But when when they have an event like this going on where I'm earning like credit towards another orb on top of the blitz credit,
right?
Like I'll go harder even if it's a character I don't want. I'm like this blitz for freaking what's her name, Ironheart. I'm probably gonna hit 15 to 20 million on her.
Right.
Just because I'm getting these other rewards. Like I'm being rewarded for my time put in. Or I think fairly rewarded for my time put in. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. So changes still need to be made. I think they can certainly make changes that'll make it way better and way more positive for the player experience. And they're just not there yet. Hopefully they'll get there. Hopefully they'll listen to Reddit. I think it's really the best that we can hope for at this point. Well, we know they're listening, so it's good that we know they're actually paying attention.
I agree.
Without a doubt. So, we had some surprising and good news, and unexpected a little bit. We were unsure. The last blog post from Scopely was there wasn't going to be another blog post until this Friday, the 15th. And we ended up getting one on the 8th, which told us some information about Jubilee.
Yeah, and her passive seems pretty damn amazing, but more importantly than that, I guess, is her unlock method.
Oh, that's not going to work. All right, we'll pop over to this again. Yeah, so Jubilee was announced on January 8th, just this past Friday. She's going to take Pimtech to unlock, which is probably not a surprise to most people. There was a lot of speculation of either Pimtech or, because it was taking so long, I know I thought the longer it took them to announce it, the more likely it would become Skilletary to be an unlock. But I'm certainly not surprised that it is Pimtech. So they announced that Yellow Jacket was going to be in the Battle Pass, which I know for me, the 100 shards I'm getting out of Battle Pass is what's going to get him to 5-star for me, so I'm good there. And that's when they announced right here that the Pimtech team is going to be needed to unlock Jubilee. So Ant-Man, Wasp, Ghost, Stature, and Yellow Jacket, and a minimum 5 stars to unlock the Walking Fireworks display. So then we got a sneak peek at Jubilee's passive, which I think is pretty phenomenal.
The Walking Fireworks display.
As biased as I might be, because it specifically works with Beast, which y'all know is my number one.
What, you built Beast? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. No, he's still at the bottom, but I'm working on him. Yeah, so when Astonishing X-Men or Ally drops below 50% health, she's going to fill Beast's speed bar by 30%, plus give ability energy to Beast. And Beast's special, which heals everybody, is only only costs 3 anyway, so giving him extra ability to heal only gives him the opportunity to heal, like, every other turn, probably, at this point. On an enemy death, X-Men allies, Astonishing X-Men allies get speed bar for 25%, which is huge. And this is what I thought was interesting. On this character, in each Astonishing X-Men or Wolverine ally's turn, apply Assist Now to self, Wolverine, or random Astonishing X-Men ally. That makes me wonder if introducing the 5th Astonishing X-Men to the team, if they even do, is going to be greatly delayed, and the thought's just going to be that's where X-Men Wolverine's going to find his home.
Okay, so yeah, you're just throwing him there for now. Yeah. I mean,
Similar,
it sounds right.
similar to Marauders and Emma. Emma works great. I mean, it's not the same situation because I don't want to compare Wolverine to Emma in any other faction other than the fact that this mechanic is working similar to where there's 4 Astonishing X-Men and another character that has synergy, right?
Right.
Where it's going to be similar to that, where there's only going to be 4 Astonishing X-Men and you've got to find a 5th. And in the Marauders case, obviously, Emma is the clear-cut OP 5th character. And
For
who
sure.
knows, maybe Wolverine finds himself some new life and becomes a great character again and reason to build up. But to continue on, her passive gained 30% max health for self and Astonishing X-Men allies. This is in every game mode. And then specifically for raids, plus 20% speed for self and Astonishing X-Men allies. I think that's pretty huge. Giving a percent speed to everybody on the team in raids, and then plus 40% damage for self and Astonishing X-Men. These guys are going to be great in raids.
Yeah, they're definitely. This is like, they're okay. So I don't want to jinx them or anything, but on paper, they're looking like the way they were kind of touting Wakanda before it came out. You know, this looks like it'll be the true premier raid team.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Again, I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like, just like you said, these guys are about to be the top dogs when it comes to raids. So for me, raids take a lot of time if you can't auto it in some form or fashion, right? We're doing 2 raids a day. You've got to hit them twice per day to stay ahead of the energy maxing out and whatnot. So it's definitely a game mode where if you have the potential to auto through a portion of it, it helps a lot. And I think if that's your interest in raiding, this team is definitely worth going hard on to do so.
Yeah, seeing her passive got me pretty hyped for Iceman. Iceman's passive is pretty sweet too. Like the 2 of those passives together are going to be pretty phenomenal. And it may cause me to actually. This might be the first legendary I spend money on to unlock. Actually,
I was starting to think the same thing. Yeah. So Iceman's passive, if this character has 4 more Astonishing X-Men allies and health is full at the start of a match, revive once with 20% of the character's max health. So this is interesting because he's not going to have 4 Astonishing X-Men allies that we know of right now. He's only going to have 3.
Does he include himself?
That's a good question. We'd have to look into the code to know for sure if that also includes himself. But as it reads, it reads that it's not going to.
If you go more into that passive, doesn't it not reduce enemy damage somewhere? Maybe through upgrading it?
Yeah, so at least the basic here. So on enemies slow, barrier for 5% and apply minus 5% armor to all enemies with slow. Level 2, he's going to, on enemy turn, 10% chance to attack that enemy for 60% piercing. If he has slow, always attack the enemy, which I think is a cool mechanic. You're always attacking enemies that have slow.
There we go. Level 3 there, yeah.
Plus 20% piercing on enemy turn, reduce armor by 5%. In raids, lower damage by 20% for all enemies with slow, which is huge. He's applying a ton of slow. Lots of slows moving around. Or actually, is he? No, he's not the one applying the slow. Never mind.
All of his, I feel like all of his attacks apply slow, do they not?
Maybe they do. We'll look at that next. I forget his kit.
Sure. Yeah.
So in raids, lower damage by 20% for all enemies with slow. Level 4, revive with 40% of character's max health from 20, so at 60% then. And reduce armor by 10% for enemies with slow. Reduce damage by 10% for enemies with slow. So on paper right now, it looks like his T4 on the passive is going to be huge. Yeah, apply slow to each target. So right off the bat, his ultimate, bury yourself for 5%, attack all enemies, and apply slow. And then he probably, so it adds bury and damage for each level you get to, which is great. The special adds damage to primary target. So yeah, each special ultimate adds a ton of damage. Apply stun on the special. I missed that part. This attack always crits and always applies stun. That's huge. If the target has slow. So that's going to be one where, what is he? I don't know what the ability starts with, but ulting and then using the special in a lot of cases is going to be the way to go. So he might not be a character that can auto very well to get the most out of his kit, depending on how much energy he starts with.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, we'll probably learn more about his kit. I would guess early next week. He Red Guardian leaves Red Star orbs did he leave them tonight or does he leave them tomorrow? I forget when we got that in-game mail.
Good question. I'm not sure.
I think we'll see him maybe Monday or Kitty Pride, depending on who they're releasing first.
We normally get the in-game mail saying Red Guardian's only around for X, one more day, and I don't believe we've seen that yet.
Yeah, we did. I'm pretty sure we did.
Oh, did we?
I'm about 9 here. I'll go through my inbox real quick.
While you go through your inbox, I will say this, just because I'm looking at the info here. Event issue resolved. If you remember, Emma didn't start right away, so you're getting some extra shards from Emma and a couple other things, so that's always good. Free stuff is great.
Milestone orbs. I'm 5 pulls away from Symbiote Spider-Man 7-star, but
nice.
I do see that. And the mail was for today, so tomorrow at reset will be when he leaves the Red Star orbs.
Yeah, so next Monday we ought to hear something about a new character getting into the Red Star orbs, right?
I assume so. I mean, maybe we'll go a few days. Maybe they'll do that thing where they'll put up like Doc Ock and a couple other Sinister Six members at 5% each or something like that. But
that's my guess. What happens tomorrow is it'll be Sinister Six at like 3% each or whatever they lower it to. And then a week of that will be on to the next new character, which will either be Kitty Pryde or Iceman, right? Should be.
That's my. Well, I hope so.
Me too. Yeah, that's certainly what I hope.
Also they stealthed in a patch for us. If they're gonna stealth in an extra character, that would be pretty crazy.
Yeah, and Rainpro just confirmed that. We could look at chat. He's orbs until tomorrow's reset. Red Guardian, talking Red Guardian.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so if you still got red stars to spend and you want to get more red stars on your Red Guardian, you only got 24 hours to do so. But I'm pumped.
Did you see the sad in-game message in our Alliance chat?
Oh, that is pretty sad. We lost a longtime member in our Alliance today. It literally just happened now. He's taken a more casual approach to the game, unfortunately. He did us a favor and stuck around to the beginning of war to where his defense would still be in war. But such is life. He's hanging out in a casual alliance.
How the game rolls. But all right, let's get back on topic though. So Jubilee, sweet passive, kit's lining up really nicely. Where are we going to find these characters?
That's a great question. It's so we have 3 that need to become farmable essentially: Ghost, Yellow Jacket, and Stature, right?
Yep.
Stature had an event, and I'm actually wondering now. Scream's not farmable, and had an event. Who was the event campaign? And when I'm talking about event, I mean event campaign. Scream had an event campaign. Shatterstar had the event campaign, and then it was Stature, or Stature was before Shatterstar.
Yeah.
The last event campaign was that Domino, and she went to Blitz Orbs, right? It's probably too soon for her to leave Blitz Orbs, so I'm wondering if Stature just goes to the Blitz store. Most people probably got her pretty darn close to 5-star through the event. Normally speaking, event campaign characters aren't super hard to get, and they don't move them to difficult to farm areas. So I would guess Blitz store for Stature. We haven't had a Blitz store character in quite a while, I feel like. Not a traditional Blitz store character, like I know Domino went and replaced Rescue, but
yeah.
It's been a while since we had a traditional speaking Blitz store character, and I'm trying to think now of who the last was it Strife? I guess it was Toad. I think they just move them in order, so Toad would have been the last Blitz character to enter the store. So my guess is going to be Stature for the Blitz store.
That makes sense to me as well.
She's pretty easy to get. Most people have her high enough already to where they don't care if it's going to be a fast and easy farm. Yellow Jacket going to the Battle Pass. I'm willing to bet they'll say, he's in the Battle Pass, he's farmable. Like, we might not hear more about Yellow Jacket before Jubilee goes live. And that wouldn't surprise me.
That makes sense to me. Make him be the one that's blocked behind either Battle Pass or buying, and then goes to War Store.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Yeah, goes to War Store. I doubt we'll see either of them go to Raid Store.
No, unfortunately not. Who was the last raid character, though? I don't even remember. Cyclops?
Yes, Cyclops looks like the last raid character, and that took forever. I mean, Mysterio and then Cyclops, the last two that were entered to the Raid store. No, that's random. I forgot. So I'm not sure who. Cyclops was definitely the most recent. Before that, I'm not really sure. Let's check the orb out.
It might have been Mysterio.
It might have. Yeah, you might be right. Or Namor. Must have been Namor.
Yeah.
Probably Namor, right?
Yeah, probably.
Either way, a really long time ago.
I think that would almost be too generous. And then putting her in the arena store is going to hurt people's Gear 15 progress as well.
Yeah, or in War Store.
Or not arena store, but War Store. Sorry.
Yeah, I would 100%. And actually, I thought about this while we were talking about where we think they're gonna go. I'm probably gonna hold off buying Gear 15 pieces now and start stocking up on my currency just in case.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You know, worst case,
I'm sitting on like 80,000 of what do you call it? What's the currency we get for donating?
Oh, the Stark Tech, right? Alliance credits. The Alliance credits.
I will blow through a shit ton of that to make sure I get Ghost to 5-star if I have to. Yeah, mine's 6 shards away from 4-star at the moment, so I've got a lot of work to do.
Ghost is going to be my bottleneck as well. So if I take a look at my Pim Tech right now, and pull yours up too, we'll see where we're both at. So I did the math before I started the battle pass. Yellow Jacket I'm good on. I complete the battle pass with the $20 spent. I have Yellow Jacket at 5-star, so I'm good there. I'm obviously good on Wasp and Ant-Man. You can see I'm only 14 shards away from Stature. There'll be a calendar like there always is, and I'll get 5 shards there. So I have 11 shards for Stature. I'm not worried about it. She's going to be made farmable somewhere, or she should be. I'll get her. And if she's not, if I've got to spend, you know, either cores on an orb or cores on just getting 5 shards or whatever, I'll be able to get her to 5-star. I'm not worried about that. Ghost is my problem. I need 105 total shards, which is going to be a lot. in the amount of time that they're probably going to give us once they make her farmable. So that's my worry, but I'm kind of with you. I'll spend the cores, I'll buy the credits, I'll refresh the shop, I'll do whatever I got to do at this point, I think, to make sure I get her to 5 stars so I can get Jubilee.
Yeah. Which also it's gonna there'll be a bottleneck, huge gear bottleneck for me too, because I slept on the current Astonishing X-Men, so I got a lot of work to do for your boy Beast. Where the hell's Beast? Beast. I'm still convinced Beast is going in that Doom node, but
yeah, I'm surprised he's not farmable yet myself. I thought he would have been made farmable by now, but he's not. Maybe that's coming. Maybe that's coming with a change. We'll see. I do want Beast farmable. I want to get my Beast to 7 stars for sure. Yeah, so we'll see. Definitely want to get him farmable as soon as possible, and I fully intend after my first completion of DD4 to take Beast to gear tier 15. I'll do that before every other character that makes way more sense to do so, just cause.
I have another Beast question for you.
All right, hit me.
All right, so you come into the gold promotion credits. If you had the 6th yellow on Beast, would you right now buy his 6th red, or would you hold off for a more meta breaking character?
If I had the 6 yellow on Beast right now, I would 100% buy it.
Okay. Even 7, say you had your 6 and you went to 7, would you do that as well?
100%.
100%.
Without a doubt.
I didn't want to question your devotion. I just wanted to see if it went all the way, and it does. Okay, that's good to know.
He did pop up as a 6 red in my store already, but because I'm still so far away from actually realizing that, I didn't pull the trigger.
Sure.
But if I had him at 6 and 7 yellow star now, and a 6 red or a 7 red popped up, I wouldn't hesitate. I would just do it. That's I mean, sometimes in this game, I've said this before and I'll say it till the day I stop playing. Sometimes you just got to do what makes you happy. And it's the reason I probably didn't quit the game already. Is sometimes you just got to do what makes you happy.
I get you.
Even if it sets me back in, a couple months or whatever. Not questioning your resolve, I'm just questioning it. I totally get it, dude. It makes 0 sense to the average player. I would not give that advice to anyone. If someone was like, holy shit, you took Beast to gear tier 15 and recruited him to, or bought 7 red stars on him, is he that good? I would say, no, he's not. Don't do what I just did. That's not worth it.
He's about to be, though. I mean, her passive, that's massive. I mean, he's about to go from, like, the biggest, like, joke in our alliance to, like...
to the OP character on that team.
Right. I mean, he's going to be integral for that team, and you're going to be sitting there hitting auto on U7.5 while we're all still mini-managing cooldowns and shit, and you're just going to blow right through the damn thing.
Well, I think he's going to be, a lot of legendary characters have that one character that, like, they just work the best with, right? And make them, like, as the combo there, OP. Like, Phoenix plus Colossus. Yeah. Phoenix plus Colossus is fucking OP. And Maw plus Thanos is fantastic. I feel like Jubilee plus Beast. That's going to be the next power couple right there.
Yeah.
Beast finally has his day, and I'm taking full advantage of it.
I'm so happy for you. So happy for you.
Me too. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, so as far as the farming goes, my guess is Stature Blitz and Ghost to War Store, and probably nothing from Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jacket he's in the Battle Pass, and that'll probably be all we see of it. 100% am probably wrong. That's just what my gut's telling me now.
No, I can't. There's no fault to that logic there. I see it totally going that way. Because I'm trying to think. Previous legendaries, there've been unfarmable characters for them, so it's not like out of the question.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Like, they probably find themselves as being pretty gracious people right now with the battle pass, just giving us 45 shards. You know, that's pretty huge. That's 45 shards free of a character that you're gonna unlock a legendary with. So I don't know.
And it was he was a blitz character, right? So there's a good, and wasn't he the first blitz sim character?
Honestly, I don't remember.
At least
it's hard to remember anything,
blitz?
you know, around that time. I just remember, you know, I can't go back. That's all I know.
I think his second blitz was the first time we had blitz sim, if I remember. Or maybe it was both. I can't remember for sure, but I think he was involved in blitz sim in some form or fashion. Maybe not. Somebody check us on that. Put it in the comment section, whatever, to correct us on it. But if he was, there's probably not a lot of people that did very well in his blitz. Like, I, for one, went pretty decently hard and still struggled. Like, without me getting super lucky when I did my orb opening, and I got tons of Ultimus orbs and premium orbs that had Yellow Jacket in it, I wouldn't get him to 5-star with the battle pass, paying for the battle pass. So I think there's a huge portion of the community that aren't going to get him at 5-star with the battle pass, and that makes sense for for them to say, well, we gave you opportunities for more Yellow Jacket shards through the battle pass. If you didn't get them, sorry, but he'll be made farmable second pass, and Ghost is farmable and Statra's farmable. I don't know.
I gotta see. I'm not even sure. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Excuse my math. 12, 13. That's 18. 23. 28. 38. And we get 55 if we buy the pass, right?
45 for the pass, and then 55 for, 45 without buying battle pass, and then 55 buying battle pass.
38. Okay, let me see mine here. So if I get 38 more, I'll be at 80. 91 plus 55. Yeah, so I will just barely get above 5-star through the battle pass itself.
Okay.
And I think that's mostly because I got lucky when we were doing those orb openings. I probably pulled like 60 to 75 shards of him in those premium orbs and what do you call them, Ultimus orbs.
Right. Yeah, I definitely pulled a lot from them myself. Surprisingly, which I wasn't mad at. I remember thinking about like, hey, that's great. Because I was still pretty good and into the Pimtech team at that point too. So not mad at it.
Nope. All right, what do we got? What do we got next on the agenda here?
All right, so Jubilee Unlock, DD4. There's a Reddit post talking about DD4 that I thought was pretty interesting. That kudos to Commander. He had posted about it in chat for us. Let me bring that up. So this guy posted in Reddit. He was the fourth person, supposedly, to... let me do... There we go. Oh, whatever. Fourth person to complete DD4. Don't copy what I did. So, let me zoom in to where you guys can see it if you're watching. There we go. So, finished DD4 a couple days ago. Getting a lot of questions. The too long didn't read advice to everyone. Bring characters who will bring the most value to you outside of DD4, taking into account how many uniques the characters will take to gear up to gear 15. So the first part of that has kind of always been the strategy that I think in general you and I have been taking. Bring characters that bring value to you outside DD4, right? Don't rush. Don't try to do the cheapest team just to get through it. Bring characters that bring you value, because still at the end of the day, Doctor Doom is one character, and while he might be valuable in many other game modes, a lot of characters versus one character is probably worth more in the long run, right?
Correct.
So bring characters that'll bring you value outside of DD4. So ideally speaking, you'll try to double up and bring the characters that have value to you within arena, within raids, within war. If you can triple dip like that, is probably, the best you can possibly do. Like, for instance, Black Order. Black Order's great in arena, obviously. They're great in war. They have value in arena. At least some of the characters do in some form or fashion. So you can look at it like that. I've been trying to do probably a little bit of mix, where I'm bringing a mix of characters that bring me value in multiple game modes versus maybe one or two game modes, but bring a lot of value within Dark Dimension as well. But what I think is interesting about this is it's firsthand experience from someone who said, don't do what we're doing, because what everyone who's completing it now, they're rushing to be the first to complete it, right? It's not about it's the whales who are spending money on getting through it as fast as possible, not doing what's best for their roster, where for us people who aren't spending on every character that comes out and are maybe minimally spending, or even below that free to play, you don't have that kind of luxury, so to speak, to where you've got to make different decisions on your roster than what the top whales can, because of resources available to them.
Yes.
Yeah, so he bullet points some things here. Why you shouldn't copy teams that already worked well for people like you, but shouldn't I be worried about how well a character performs in DD4? This is a good point, which is the one right here, which I really liked. Not really. The devs listen to our feedback, and DD4 isn't as awful of a grind like DD3 was. It's more like DD2. What's important about that is, like, a lot of people I heard, well, maybe not a lot of people, but there was a fair amount of people who got stuck behind 2 Iron Fists in Dark Dimension 3, and were literally stuck there. I know of people that contacted support to get reset on the nodes, to where they could try to go through it again and not get double fisted, which is the term that was going around. And I
love that, by the way.
That was pretty brutal. I mean, that was one of the main things when I started Dark Dimension. I was like, when I got to that node, when the first Iron Fist dropped, that's all I focused on. Like, I went through probably 3 or 4 more more rotations through Dark Dimension than I needed to, just to make sure I got him down before anybody else, to where I wouldn't get stuck behind 2 Iron Fists. And it sounds like the devs listened to the feedback on DD3 and made DD4 a lot more manageable and more of an enjoyable game mode than just the slugfest that DD3 was, which I think is super important and good to know going into it, that it makes it more viable to take characters that you're using in other game modes and that maybe aren't as well equipped for a Dark Dimension than other characters then.
Yep.
So then he goes on to say, I'm not a whale and some of my characters are at a low star level. So, I mean, that's a little less important. He was just saying that he was a newer player and went with a tall roster instead of a wide roster. Some content creators told me that certain characters are must-haves, or there is a certain best team, quote unquote. Well, they're wrong, is what he says. There are no must-have characters in DD4. It's not like early DD3 where you had to bring the right characters or you would get stuck. That's reminisce of being double-fisted that we talked about. Most of the CCs aren't in DD4 or just on the first couple of nodes. They're just guessing. I think that's valuable to discuss too. A lot of content creators, there's a lot of content creators that are very good at theory crafting, and you can take what they say with maybe just a little bit of grain of salt, like, because they're still just guessing at the end of the day, right? Because they're not in it yet. They don't know how the nodes are going to work out. And there's a lot of value coming from people who have already completed DD4 to say, like, look, I did it with these characters. It's 2 great characters and 2 scrubs, or 3 scrubs and 1 great character, and I still made it through. Maybe it took me a little bit longer, but nothing like DD3. And I think the moral of the story that I'm getting out of this Reddit post is this is not like DD3. It's more like DD2, to where you can essentially bring any 5 characters and still get through. It might just take you a lot longer than if you bring other ones. So you just got to weigh what you want out of the game mode. Do you want to get through quickly and get Doctor Doom? Or are you okay with taking longer and bringing in only the characters that make the most sense for your roster?
Yeah, and that's really like the point that I've always hammered home. Like I've held on to myself with that is you got to just, if you're not spending a bunch of money, then you have to do what's best for your roster. And sure, you could get it in a few days, maybe a month early if you bring in what the hell is his name? The alcohol's hitting me. Shield Trooper. Yeah, so if you bring a Shield Trooper who requires no mini uniques, I mean, sure, you can get in there a little earlier, but you're still wasting. I mean, where do you use Shield Trooper? Answer is you probably fucking don't. So, like,
right.
There's no point in wasting all the catalysts that you need for him to get in a little earlier if it's not going to help you in the long run. I mean, if it gets you in there one day earlier, let's say it gets you in there a month earlier. Great, sweet. I'm getting through the first nodes. I'm getting through global. Bam, here's Cosmic. What do you got for that? You probably are going to be waiting in between a lot of when they separate to different origin types. So, when you're done, or not origin types, but location background. What the hell do you even call that? Anyway, so, you're jumping from global to cosmic, you're probably going to be sitting there for a minute. And then from cosmic to city, you'll probably be sitting there for a minute. And I think a lot of people are going to be sitting for the longest time at legendary because, I mean, it's the last line to get through, and it's, you already used up the origin stuff for everyone else. You used up your biomats to get through city. You used up your probably your tech mats to get through global and cosmic, and mystic through cosmic. So there's no point in taking in a low performing character just to get it in quicker.
Yeah, you and I are of the same opinion. Rushing to get in when to play the hurry up and wait game. Like you said, there's no point to do that. So if you're not going to be able to move on in a fashion, which is what I took out of this is, because it's more like DD2 and not DD3, you're not going to be stuck on a node for 20 days. In almost probably any way you spin it. If you're bringing in good characters, it might take you a little bit longer, but it's not going to take you a month to get through a node. To where to hurry up and get through the first 3 nodes just to start, and then you're stuck waiting for another global character, like you said, and stuck waiting and stuck waiting and stuck waiting. It doesn't make sense. Just wait at the start and then be able to finish and go, the majority of the way through it. It makes a lot of sense to me. So the post goes on to give some choices and recommendations for each section based on his or her experience. I don't know who it is, so I won't presume to know. But for global, Sinister, Emma, X-23, Zemo, Strife with Sinister, and Yelena. And then cheaper meta options, Black Widow and Sabretooth. So giving some cheaper options, and then as well as a expensive but a top performer, Ghost, and possibly Red Guardian. So I like the options he gives out there. You're getting 3 areas of, a good chunk of reasonable choices, which I think are all great characters and reasonable choices that you use outside of Dark Dimension. You're given cheaper options that have some value outside of Dark Dimension, and then you're given an expensive option that's probably not used outside of Dark Dimension at all, but it's an expensive option, right?
Right.
That's how I read global. Cosmic the same, reasonable, Proxima, Thanos, Corvus, those all make sense because they're on the best arena team in the game right now and have a lot of value in war, and then plus some value in raids. Thor with Hela, value in war and raids. Longshot, I don't know if I'd call, for me, I wouldn't put Longshot as a reasonable choice just because
team.
No team. Long term, probably yeah. Long term, you probably won't be upset about taking him up, but at least right now with immediate impact to your roster, it's probably not the best choice. And probably not for Mordo either, but he did put the caveat in there if you use him in Alliance War. So if you've invested heavily into Supernatural already, you're probably good to go with Mordo. Cheaper options, no good ones. Cosmic has a limited selection of reasonable choices. That's pretty fair. And expensive but top performa, Minerva and Hela. I think that all jives pretty well. And then City, reasonable choices, Scream, Symbiote, Spider-Man, Anti-Venom, and Carnage. I think there is no doubt in anyone's mind that symbiotes in some form or fashion would be the main choice for City. And then cheaper meta options, Punisher, Merc Lieutenant, and Vulture. And then expensive but top performer, Venom. Which I think that all makes pretty much a lot of sense as well for what I anticipated and planned on for City as well. Although I think I can't remember if I planned on. I think I was thinking about Ghost Rider for City just because of his Mystic Gear and not planning on a lot of Mystic Gear. So I would add Ghost Rider to City myself.
Yeah, and I was planning on Ghost Rider as well. I wonder why he's not on this list. Is he super expensive and I just didn't notice that, or?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Let me pull up Discord because I know we have a list of the DD4 somewhere.
Is it at the top of this Reddit post, actually? Is it an embedded picture?
Oh, you know what? It's not embedded, but they did link that. I think you're right. Yeah, here's a link to the costs.
When I view it on my phone.
Boom, here we go. Perfect. So City
72.
Mystic, okay. Right? 72. So he's on the expensive side for sure. So yeah, I'd probably still add Ghost Rider to City as maybe an expensive. I'm not so sure about top performer, but probably. I mean, you use him in DD3, right?
I did use him in DD3, and I think he worked out really well. I mean, all those there's debuffs that he puts out, which heals the symbiotes, and then at the same time, the symbiotes putting their own debuffs out give him speed bar.
Right.
And if you wiped and he was one of the last few to wipe, he gained a shit ton of charges. So every time he used his ult, he was full healing. He was getting
heals. Yeah. So that makes sense. I think expensive but top performer. You put Ghost Rider in there and caveat that with probably specifically Carnage is a good pairing and Symbiote Spider-Man, if not Anti-Venom and Scream both too. But pairing him with symbiotes is a good pairing. And then the legendary nodes. The legendary nodes probably don't really matter. It's what legendaries do you use most often? Phoenix, Doc Ock, Invisible Woman, and Ebony Maw. I think are great choices. Invisible Woman would be my fourth choice on that list. And I myself would take Black Bolt over Invisible Woman.
So would I.
And I wonder what the cost difference is.
So, she's 54. Okay. They're at the top there.
Oh, they're all at the top.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So maybe that was his reasoning there.
Yeah, so 54 versus 72 makes sense, but I'd wait. I'd wait to get the extra, what does that even equal out to? 18 pieces to take Black Bolt over Invisible Woman myself. Because Black Bolt's a character that you could never probably have too big. Like, he's always going to be super valuable in raids as well as other game modes, and who knows, having a huge Black Bolt against a Black Order in the future is probably a good idea too. Yeah, and I don't think I would consider Shuri myself. I get why Shuri would be a top performer, but her on Wakandans, her being super high. I mean, Wakandans are getting broken up anyway, so Shuri's going to be a floating legendary, so to speak, or you're going to put on whatever team, probably on an Ultron team for Blitz, and placing her wherever you want to outside, or maybe she's on your Mercs team or whatever. But having a big Shuri on those types of team isn't necessarily a good thing, in my opinion. Especially not for Blitz.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. My Mercs at the moment win at 8.3, and that's without Killmonger. So I don't know. I mean, I think there's plenty of ways you can go with them, but yeah, basically the entirety of the Wakanda team is a freelance section right now.
Right.
For Blitz, interestingly enough, for Blitz right now, my Wakandans are all on one team except for Killmonger, and Ultron's on their team.
Oh, okay. That's where you're placing Ultron.
Because Killmonger I currently have on my skilled military team, but since they don't win at 8.3, I will probably be adjusting that back at some point.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with Skilletary as far as Blitz goes. Right now, my Wakandans are still all together, and my Ultron team is, it's Ultron, Captain Marvel, Minerva, Shocker, and Vulture.
Okay.
And they win at 8.3. It's a bunch of characters with no, with no home. I specifically chose, and it's good that it works out this way because it makes sense for Sinister Six.
Right.
I keep Vulture and Shocker off it because they are villain tech, and that works well with Ultron. And they're also two of the kind of, obvious characters to leave off Sinister Six with once you get Swarm and Electro going. So,
right.
Yeah. Well, we're like super over time, actually. We talked a lot about a lot of this stuff, so we'll hit some questions real quick, and then we'll wrap up this week's happy hour.
Sounds good.
So, specifically talking about Doc Ock, good segue into it. Commander's asking, what Doc Ock team comps do you use in Blitz and War? And if you use him on offense in War, who do you use him against? And then on top of that, what T4s do you put on him and his allies? And by the way, he's unlocking Doc Ock tonight. So lots of Doc Ock questions coming from Commander in chat here, which is awesome. Great to hear. And I will...
So I'll go through what I'm currently doing real quick first. You have a lot more experience with your Sinister Six, and yours have built up a lot more than mine. But I run mine, Doc Ock, Shocker, Green Goblin, Rhino, Mysterio, and that is purely because those are my 5 highest powered Sinister Six characters. And then I have not put enough into Electro or Swarm because they came at a bad time for me being bio. With a ton of other bio characters, I think they were around the same time as symbiotes, and I was still building symbiotes, and
right.
there was a lot going on. So. But they do punch up. They punch up massively against like those random defender teams you see. They win at 8.3 for me every single time. I don't throw them against, Phoenix teams or Black Order, but other than that, they're winning.
Yep.
Yeah. So but that's my roster really determines that, and I think that might be a lot. The answer to that question is really going to be where your roster is, I think. But what's your take?
No, I think that's a good point. I want to precursor this too with I think what's important to remember is a big Doc Ock, no matter who of the other 4 characters are, a big Doc Ock can carry this team very far. So like I have 100k Doc Ock, and before I got the 6 Red Star, he was at 90 versus 60k is the next highest tune. Any other 5 or any other 4 Sinister Six characters with a large Doc Ock will carry. You'll be able to punch up in War. You'll be able to do a lot of good things. They'll win in 8.3 of Blitz, any 4 characters with Doc Ock, if Doc Ock is your biggest character, without a doubt. If they're more even powered, that's where I think you'll have to get a little bit more tricky on what you pair who you pair him with. I think right. Mysterio's a no-brainer because you get the heal blocks from Mysterio. The AoE heal block is great. It's super important, I think. And I think Swarm and Electro are must-have necessary. I think they're literally the next two best Sinister Six characters after Doc Ock. Electro does a ton of damage. Swarm does a ton of damage. Plus the disrupts. And outside of those three characters with Doc Ock, so Swarm, Electro, and Mysterio, I'm either usually tossing in Rhino or Green Goblin, depending on what situation I'm in. So if I think I'm going to be in a situation where I'm going to need to remove some buffs, I'll toss Rhino in. But if I'm not worried about buffs or debuffs at all, I'm probably going to go with Green Goblin most of the time, no matter what. In Blitz, run Doc Ock plus your 4 highest Sinister Six is what I would do. And in War, if you've built up Swarm and Electro, use them plus Mysterio, and then swap out Rhino or Green Goblin as needed. It would be my suggestion. What's up, Super? Yeah, welcome to the stream.
Welcome.
But moral of the story really is, if you take Doc Ock up quite a few levels and you make him your strongest character on your Sinister Six, he's going to carry the other 4 characters you use. And to be able to punch up on higher, more higher war defense teams, using Swarm and Electro definitely helps a lot more than using the traditional Sinister Six team, in my opinion. It's worth investing in Electro and Swarm, in my opinion. Even at 4, if you've got them at 4 yellow, 4 red, like I have my Electro, totally worth it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much you could go. This team is very versatile, like depending on what you're going against, like there's a lot you can do with it. And I think most of the right answer is, like you said, if you got Swarm Electro, bring them in. If you don't, your next 4 highest characters.
Yeah, so Commander did, and we'll talk to him this once eventually he joins the stream or maybe off stream, but his Shocker, his Electro, all of his Sinister Six here are roughly the same power outside of his Swarm, who is still a little bit low. My suggestion to him would be, it looks like you might be able to gear up your Swarm. Add the gear to Swarm. For sure use Electro. And, drop Shocker and Vulture off the list and use the other ones. Use Green Goblin and Rhino as needed. And definitely make Doc Ock your strongest character on the team. It's going to be super valuable. 100% worthwhile.
Yep, for sure.
And then the last...
Once again, congrats to everybody unlocking him today.
Yeah. Congrats to everyone who's unlocked Doc Ock. You're not going to be disappointed. Doc Ock's a lot of fun to play. And the last question, we touched on this a little bit earlier from Rain Pro. Now that we've had time to play with the real-time arena challenges, do you think they're do you think they're good or bad, made things better or worse? I'll let you start this one off.
I think it's a weird question to answer. I guess bad in terms of when I think about it, I think about how getting Sim Blitz took that time out of the game, and then I thought real-time arena was going to be a big time dump, but it wasn't the first round. This has definitely increased the amount of time you need to be in the game. Now, that being said, the way they structure it now, you're not running into that Phoenix in 4 turds, as Smith likes to say, and you're not running into you can't run into it right now this time, the Zemo Taskmaster combo, where somebody had a giant Zemo, giant Taskmaster, and 3 other crappy tunes. So you're not running into that. You are actually running into other teams, and for the most part, it's a mishmash of other characters because they're trying to get their objectives done, which is cool. So in terms of, it's more enjoyable to play, I think, when you actually want to play. But once you're done with those few objectives and you're down to like just skill or just bio or something of that nature, It is a shit ton of matches to get 600 abilities done. And you're going to need to do 1 or 2 of those a week at the very least to get this whole battle pass completed. So it's a lot of extra time, and I don't want to like knock it too hard. It's worse in terms because for me, what it all comes down to is time, really. But at the same time, they listened to us. They made some changes, and while these aren't perfect, I have faith that the next battle pass will be much more well tweaked.
Yeah, I think that's well said. I echo all your statements there pretty much wholeheartedly. Certainly takes longer right now. It's hard to say that it's bad or good. They made things better or worse. So is it bad? Is it good? It's good that they're listening. It's bad what they initially did. They need to make more changes, right? I think is essentially what it comes down to. Did they make things worse? I would say yeah. In the short term, they made things worse, but I don't think that was intentional. So I'm not too upset about it. I'm not going to really rip into them for it. I think it's just they missed the mark, right? And maybe maybe they need to take more feedback from players on suggestions rather than just hey, we don't like this, and stopping there. Listen to the players and say, hey, we don't like this. Here's what we think would make it better. Then take that into more consideration, because we've each heard some really great options, I think, to, that could make real-time arena a lot more enjoyable for everybody. That was certainly not part of the changes made. So step up if Scopely stepped up and started listening a little bit more about proposed changes as opposed to just what we don't like, maybe that could make things a little bit quicker to change, hopefully. But I think I agree with you. I think we'll see more changes next time, and I would expect them to get a little bit better, maybe somewhere in the middle, right? Maybe not perfect yet, but certainly better than what it has been.
Yeah, I mean, I think 600 is just a lot. So I don't think this is too bad if they reduce each one by, like, let's say 150 to 200 a piece. Yeah, I mean, it's just tweaking at this point. I would say give us 2 knockout milestones still. Maybe reduce the points we get for 225 by a little bit, but give us a comparable amount of points for another double that knockout, and reduce these high 600 abilities. And also, take out stupid ones. Protector, 600, ridiculous.
I mean, for that one, you're...
That's that.
Like 150 matches minimum to complete that, right?
Right.
And if you're lucky and they only take 3 minutes each, I mean, that's still quick math. That's like 8 hours of gameplay just to get through that. That's insane. It's too much. The game mode, the changes they made makes you spend way too much time in the game mode than what we're hoping for. And I'm still hopeful long term, to wrap that up. My comments on it is they'll make winning worth something rather than to just be a time sink of complete these objectives to get the rewards and move on with life. Make winning a match mean something, and reduce the amount of time spent if you do win, and you'll get people interested in winning.
For sure. Yeah. They need to attach some kind of extra reward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it for questions. And that'll just about wrap up this week's happy hour then.
Yeah, it was a good one. It went over there was a lot more to talk about than I think we initially thought when we were first sitting down.
Yeah, a lot more a little more opinionative, I think, this time around, which is all right. That's good. It's going to be a little bit longer, and hopefully next time we'll try to keep it to the hour to make it not too long of a video and all that good stuff. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it if you watched, and until next time, cheers.
Cheers.